Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. It's the squad announcement press conference for the upcoming CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims against St. Vincent and the Grenadines, March 21 at the Arnasville Stadium in St. Vincent and March 25 at Sabina Park in Kingston, Jamaica. We're joined with the head coach of the Jamaica senior men's national team, Coach Steve McLaren. Before our coach gets into some opening remarks, we're going to show on the screen quite briefly the squad, and then Coach McLaren will get into some opening remarks. After Coach McLaren's opening remarks, we'll put the squad back up on the screen, and then we'll go into the question and answer segment. So just to run through the names for everybody. Goalkeepers, Shaquan Davis, Andre Blake, Jamali Waite. Defenders, Richard King, Ethan Pinnock, Kyle Ming, Christopher Ainsworth, Dexter Lembikisa, Amari Bell, Joel Latibaudiere, Fitzroy Cummings. Midfielders, Isaac Hayden, Joshawn Anglin, Bobby Reid, Sule McCullough, Casey Palmer, and Tyreek McGee. And the forwards, Leon Bailey, Demarai Gray, Shamar Nicholson, Kaheem Dixon, Ronaldo Cephas, and Warner Brown. We now turn over to Coach McLaren, who will get into some opening remarks. Coach, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I've got to say this morning, I woke up quite buoyed after last night. Great night at the National Stadium. Cavaliers against Inter Miami. And what it was to see the stadium full house. I know we nearly got it against the USA, but to see a full house, that's the goal. I said to everybody, all the staff, everybody I spoke to this morning, that's the goal, to fill the stadium. So it was great to see. What a great game. Spirited, I thought, performance from Cavaliers. And yeah, the most important thing for, I suppose, all the supporters was to see Messi playing. Not many people get and are fortunate to see Messi live. But Jamaica saw that last night. So we appreciate that from him, because he didn't have to come. I spoke to Mascherano before the game. And yeah, he said he wanted Messi to come and to play for the Jamaican people. So that's what he did. So we thank them for that. So it was a great night and a great performance by Cavaliers. The squad, we have obviously some injuries within that squad. We have Dishon Bernard, Greg Lee, Mason Holgate, who just pulled out yesterday. He has been playing in pain with his toe, and the club want to operate on that next week. They need him to play Saturday, so he'll have an injection and then an operation to remove a blackened toenail next week. So he's not eligible for us. And as we know, Antonio is recovering remarkably well. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. Really positive, really in good form in his rehab. He's on the treadmill, he's running, and he tells me he's going to be ready for the summer. Knowing Mikel, that could happen. So we keep our fingers crossed for that. And also Romario Williams, I spoke to last week and this week, who also has an injury. He's in pre-season. He is playing, awaiting surgery, which he needs, and so not available for this. One person, Damien Lowe, is not available. He's fit, but not available. He has personal issues, which he needs to sort out next week. So he's not available for the first leg, but we've put him on standby for the second leg. So we see the outcome of that one. It's great that we can name 9 local players. And the reason for that, I think, is obviously injuries to come to the squad, but to give them opportunities. The camp we had a few weeks ago, the 2 games against Trinidad, the work for nearly 5 days with them gave me a great insight into the abilities, the characters, and I really enjoyed that camp. Really enjoyed the 2 games, and from that working with them has given me confidence in which I can put them in the squad and know that they will do the job. So that's good. For the camp and the squad, I think we've enough experience in there from, Andre Blake, we have Pinnock, we have Latty, we have Amari Bell, Isaac Hayden, Palmer, Bobby Reed, welcome him back, Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, Shamar, all experienced players. And, we expect them to step up and see us through and get us into the Gold Cup. One other item concerning the staff, Richard Hartis, who was my assistant and goalkeeping coach, has about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, moved to Besiktas in Turkey with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he's the goalkeeping coach there. But I got to say, after speaking with him, he wants to still work with Jamaica, and he's volunteered his services to come and help us qualify for the World Cup and the Gold Cup. And so he's coming in the capacity of just goalkeeping coach, which left the assistant role vacant. And I filled that with Paul Simpson, who you might have seen in the last camp for the local players. Paul, yeah, we played together. I coached him. He's been my assistant twice at Derby and Newcastle. And what he brings is unbelievable experience of actually winning a World Cup for England, under 20s World Cup in South Korea in 2017. So he knows what it takes to qualify for a World Cup, and he knows what it takes to win a World Cup. So his experience will be invaluable in helping myself, the players, the staff, and the JFF to accomplish our goal. We come up next week in this camp against St. Vincent and Grenadines. What do we know about them? We've watched them for 6 games in Bonaire, Montserrat, and El Salvador, twice each. So we've watched 6 games. And this is not going to be an easy game. El Salvador, they beat them at home, and they should have beat them again, but conceded a last-minute goal against. But they had 2 great games against El Salvador, and yeah, we know the team has got good attitude. They play with each other regular, so they know each other. They've got a great spirit and great attitude, and players in the front 4 who can hurt you. My first job is to make sure that we don't approach this game complacently. And yeah, we'll be certainly showing clips of St. Vincent and Grenadines, the strengths and how they can hurt us. If we're not right in terms of attitude, this can be a very, very difficult game for us. Our goal is really to get the job done, to qualify for the Gold Cup. It's important we do that. Important for various reasons. To do that, keep the ranking high so we get better qualification, better seeding in groups, we hope, coming up. What I want, my final message before I take questions, it's a World Cup year. It's a big year. It's a year in which we've got a great opportunity, an opportunity not achieved since '98 of qualifying for the World Cup. And everybody has to be together. Everybody has to be together. Everybody has to work together. And what I expect is, from the top to the bottom, I expect the JFF to provide us with the tools necessary to make sure that the players and the staff and everybody get the equipment and everything that we need to be able to achieve the goal of the World Cup 26. We expect the players to show commitment, attitude, and professionalism, which is the key thing, and make sure that they know this is it's a one-off opportunity to qualify for the World Cup, and the players must have that commitment, attitude, focus, and above all, sacrifice. I think it's a year of sacrifice for Jamaica, for each other, for the supporters. So everybody has to do that. The staff to show their expertise, we need that to be available and make sure that they're supported. And ultimately, I think I come full circle. I saw a full house, 35,000 in the National Stadium last night. We had 29 against the US. We want a full house again. And we'll only achieve that if we're successful and heading towards the World Cup. So the supporters get behind the teams through thick and thin. There will be ups and downs. There will be disappointments. There will be highs. But make sure that we all stick together from top to bottom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach McLaren, for that. We'll now open the floor for questions from members of the media. Mr. Spence, good morning. You can go ahead. Please unmute, and then you
Coach, can you hear me, Coach?
Go
I
ahead.
can, yeah.
Coach, I was in St. Louis to watch a Jamaica versus USA game, and there seems to be a significant gulf in quality between the two teams. And as such, from where I sit, it seems we need better players. I also watched the JPL games, some games, two matches against Trinidad, and Cavalier recent matches against Inter Miami. Now, it appears, based on what I observed, the quality doesn't reside locally. However, we have a vast pool of eligible players in the diaspora, yet the recruitment process seems more reactive than strategic. As such, what structured approach, if any, is in place to actively scout, track, and engage its players before they commit elsewhere? And what are you doing specifically to source these players?
Yeah, when I took the job, recruitment was probably, apart from the squad players, the players that were already playing, the next most important job was scouring Europe, America, wherever we could for dual nationals, players who could play for Jamaica. And all we're looking for is to develop and improve the present squad and to improve the present squad by recruitment. That recruitment process started from day one with conversations with a host of players, England, Europe, in the USA as well. And that's ongoing. I think we spoke about this a few months ago, about, you know, what it takes to get a passport in Jamaica. And the process is very long. It's very patient wearing. And we have several players now who are very close to achieving the passport that is required for them to play for Jamaica. It's been too slow. The process hasn't been. Sometimes we're flying, and sometimes we're close, and then we're far away. There's a lot of things to get a passport, and a lot of documents that the players have to collect, and documents from you talk about grandparents, so 30, 40 years ago, trying to find birth certificates, etc. In the parishes in Jamaica has been very difficult. But we're on with about 5 or 6, and we're only going to recruit players who can improve the present squad and the present team. So that has always been the goal from day one. That process is ongoing. There are a lot of people, especially in the UK, who are working towards that. A lot of people over here also, Devon Porter and Ian Campbell, through Roy Simpson, are working to get the Europeans nationalised so that they can play. Our goal is to have them available we have 2 friendlies in the UK at the end of May, 2 World Cup qualifiers. Hopefully we get through the next 2 games, the Gold Cup, and then hopefully we have the group stage of the World Cup. So we have a bit of time. We'd like them earlier. It's not been possible, but we're working damn hard to make sure that we better the players, better the squad, better the talent that we've got in there.
Do you have a follow-up, Mr. Spence?
Yeah, I do. I just watched the press conference with Thomas Tuchel, the England press conference, and he was asked the question about the working arrangement he has with the England FA. And the question was more around, can you actually work remotely And he noted this was only in the inception of the role, that he's been to over 25 games, only goes back to Germany to be with his family. You are currently working remotely. Can you truly be effective in your role working remotely? And do you go out to see potential recruits and go to a number of games to watch them to see if they can add value to your team?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do and will continue to do.
Thank you, Mr. Spence. Matthew, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Coach. Can you hear me?
Go
I
ahead.
can, Matthew.
Yes. Good morning, Simon, as well. Coach, Lewis Baker, he was recently recalled from his loan at Blackburn, and he's been in fine form for Stoke this year. What, if anything, can you tell us about your recruitment for Lewis? And is he someone that Jamaican fans can expect to see sometime soon?
I'm not going to discuss individual players that we're looking at and what stage they're at. Lewis is on the list. And another one that the process is very slow. But yeah, it's great to see him playing for Stoke, playing very well. We're in constant contact with him, and the process goes on.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Matthew. Dre, good morning. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. This is Dre from Dre Anyweather Sports. So, how much of an influence did the caliber of opponent have on the selection of this squad? And I have another question after that.
We know this is going to be a difficult game. So the squad that we pick is the strongest that is available to us at this present time, what I think, and a squad that is good enough to get the job done. It's with experience, players who have played regular. We welcome back a lot of players who haven't played for us since October, like Bobby Reid, like Ethan Pinnock. So we're confident that we can get the job done with the squad that we've got, and it's the strongest squad I believe that we could pick.
Okay, and also from last night's game, I'm not sure if you watch it, but were there any players that you were impressed with their individual performances from the Cavaliers team, of course?
Yeah, obviously, we were there to, and I've seen Cavaliers probably more than any other team, so I know the players well. We had them in camp also. And yeah, some players were very, very close and now really on standby for the squad because we've had injuries already this week. We've got a weekend to go, so we'll probably get more injuries and fallout. So we need replacements. And no hesitation, we have players in the UK, but also local players now. We've included King is an integral part of our squad and our team. Ainsworth obviously comes into that as well. But they have many good players. We've looked at Atkinson, at Calvin, at Shamal Watson, Adrian Reed. So there are many good players in the Cavaliers squad and team, and they proved that over the 2 legs against Inter Miami. So there's talent on this island. I know that now. I've worked with them, and we'll continue to do that.
Thanks, Dre. Livingston Scott, good morning.
Yes, morning, Coach.
Morning.
Yes, Coach. I just wanted to ask you about Warner Brown. Do we have a number striker in the squad, but you chose him as the local striker to choose? Just give me your insight into your selection of Warner Brown.
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of Warner Brown before the camp a few weeks ago. I liked him in camp. He was a goal scorer. The game we went to see him, Arnott Gardens, he scored a hat-trick. And so it was quite easy to include him in that squad. And he's one of them who I think can help us impact. He's a goal scorer. He's quick. He runs behind, and he's got an eye for goal. And we haven't got in the number 9 position anywhere in the UK or even on the island, really stand out strikers that we can pick. Shamar Nicholson comes in. Antonio was obviously our number 1. Romario Williams was also effective in the 2 games, 2 camps that we had before the new year. I liked him, but unfortunately we can't get him. So the number 9 is a position in which we need to find that hidden gem. So yeah, Shamar, Warner Brown have got an opportunity this week in the 2 games to seal a place.
Okay, thank you,
Just
Livingston.
want to ask, coach, just as I said, a lot of local players in the squad. Will we get to see a mix? Are you showing some confidence in some of these players?
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to we have join up on Monday. We have 3 days preparation, which gives us good time to look at the players and find the right balance of the team. And as I say, it's not those who start, it's also the finishers. So it's a squad game, and I believe we've got a strong enough squad to get through.
Thank you, Livingston. Simon Stone from the BBC. Good afternoon, Si.
Simon,
Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're okay. Good to see
listen,
you.
I'm good.
Just got a couple of questions. I mean, first of all, did you say you were playing a couple of friendlies in England at the end of this season? And also, what conversations have you had with Michail Antonio? Because obviously, when the accident happened, it looked horrific, and a lot of people wondered whether he would actually play again anyway. From what he's saying, he sounds pretty confident that that's going to happen. And do you think he's capable of playing at international level this summer?
Yeah, he certainly seems to think so. And you know, Mikel is a warrior. He's come from non-league and he's fought his way through, playing in the Premier League, playing in top games, Europe, and playing internationally for Jamaica and making an impact wherever he goes. I mean, it was horrendous, the accident. We spoke to him a couple of days after that accident, and he's one of them that I never really knew him I knew him on the field because he was always a pest whenever we played against him. But off the field, he's a true character. Great for the squad, always bubbly, always positive, and we missed that. Not just he's on the field, but off the field. I spoke to him 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's on the treadmill. He's running. He's looking to go out, and he's confident that he will come back, and he's aiming to come back for the summer period, or hopefully our World Cup qualifying group, which will be September, October, November. So that's his goal. The one thing that he said he's got motivation, and when warriors have got motivation, they tend to achieve their goal. And his goal is to be fit in the summer to help Jamaica qualify.
Thank you. And just, I know you don't want to talk about individual players, but is there any update on the Mason Greenwood situation?
Not really. The ball is in his court. He knows that. He's settling nicely in Marseille, despite some run-ins with De Zerbi just recently. But he's loving his football. We're in contact all the time, him and his family. And I'm very confident that he only wants to play for Jamaica. So every conversation is, I only want to play for Jamaica. And it's up to him when he wants to move forward with that. And I think we are at the present moment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Si. All right, Jason Hall, good morning.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, everyone here. My question, obviously, to Coach, I had a question on Ravel Morrison. He was added, of course, for the second leg of the USA match for the Nations League, but was an unused substitute. Was he in consideration for selection for this squad and just didn't quite make it? Or do you have anything to say on Ravel?
Yeah, I mean, I know Ravel, and we brought him in and we thought he could impact. We had injuries, and there was, I think, a question earlier about the golfing quality ourselves in the USA, which was apparent, especially in that second game. We missed a lot of players for that. Holgate was out, Pinnock was out. We didn't have Antonio. We didn't have Bobby Reid and Casey Palmer in the second. So we were down on half a team of quality. So you could see that gulf. Them players have come back in, and we're looking to keep that strength.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is more about the local contingent. We have 9 players from the JPL in this squad of 23. In the past, when we have picked local players, you have kind of made mention that you've kind of leaned on your staff that might be more familiar with the players. Where would you say you are currently with your own knowledge of the local players? And is it a case where now you feel confident in making these decisions? Obviously, you're going to lean on your staff as well, but maybe not as much as before.
No, I think from the start of the job and the first 3 camps that we had, we relied heavily on Merrin Gordon and the local staff that we've got in terms of players outside of the UK, on the island, and even in MLS, USL, players of that caliber, we relied on them. The big advantage is that over them 3 camps that we've had, we've seen a lot of players because of injuries. We've had to call in players, and we've looked at some and looked at others and discovered some gems and others who were not good enough. And we just felt that the camp in January that we had in the games in February against Trinidad, working with the players closely, day in, day out, living with them in hotels and the technical centre, that we got to know these players very well, the habits, the character. And in that 3-week period that I was over, watched a lot of games, but working with them, that's where you truly see the players. So it was great, that camp, and great working with them. And you're absolutely right. That gives me confidence that I didn't have before in terms of the quality and the character of local players. Now that I've seen them at close hand, no hesitation in putting local players in who I think are the best for the job, best for the squad, and especially for these 2 games.
Thank you, Jason. Brian Martin, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Simon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, coach. Just a
Morning.
question on 2 players. So in the local Premier League, we have an attacking midfielder called Nikhil Ellis, who's actually been doing pretty well. Do you know anything about him? And also, recently we had a U17 World Cup qualification, which we had a young striker, Seymour Reid. I noticed you mentioned strikers just now. He's a young player who's been training with his MLS outfit and is also playing in the MLS Next Pro. Any reasons as to why he couldn't have been invited in this camp?
Yeah, we've got a little bit for experience, but we certainly know the boy Fuller. And while we were over the last camp, we did have a couple of days at the technical centre where the under-17s were preparing for their camp. So we saw a lot of them players and the ability and the talents that they've got, and that was apparent in the games. Unfortunately, they got knocked out unexpectedly when probably they expected to go through. And yes, I think you're absolutely right. We need to look at these players even closer because age is not anything. If they're talented and they're good enough and they're better than what you've got, no doubt we will put them in. So these are 2 players that we've got on the radar, and we will certainly be following. As I say, for the summer, we've got heavy recruitment already in process, and different names coming to us every day, not just players in England, but also in America and other countries. So recruitment is certainly one of them important aspects of building this squad, so it's strong enough to qualify for the World Cup.
Thank you, Brian. Daniel, Blake, the Observer. Good morning, Daniel.
Hi, good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach.
Hi, Daniel.
First question in regards to Leon Bailey. After he had scored in the first leg against Club Brugge in the Champions League, he said he was really looking forward to playing in the Gold Cup qualifiers and eventually making it to the Gold Cup. He also admitted that he's had a fairly tough season, but he's a warrior, like you mentioned, similarly with Michail Antonio. What have your conversations been with him since that last USA game in November? I know that he's been sort of in and out of the Aston Villa team, but how much confidence have you seen from him in recent games and just in your conversations with him?
Yeah, the conversations are always positive. And very honest. We were very honest after the 2 USA games, and we followed him. I follow him very, very closely, and it's no coincidence. Unai Emery, he, when the big games are on, when they have to win, he always puts Leon in the team. He's got a lot of games, a lot of rotation going on. That's why he's in and out. His fitness is good when he plays. He feels good and plays well. And, you trust the judgment of top managers, and Unai Emery is a top manager. And when he picks Leon for the best games, and he's certainly over the last few weeks, certainly impacted whenever he's played. And that's what we expect. And that's the conversation that we have with Leon and everybody, Damari Gray, anybody who comes. What you're doing for your club. That's why you picked. Come and do it for Jamaica. And that's what we expect.
Yeah, and second question, in all of the squads that you've chosen, you've given a lot of credit to your assistant Meron Gordon, who has been able to, help you with some of the local players and some of them who were, based in some of the European countries and in America and so forth. Have you gotten more comfortable in squad selection, especially after having that camp, knowing more of the local players while trying to blend that in with the European-based players?
Yeah, I think when I got the job, took the job, I knew the squad. I knew the UK-based players within that squad. I knew the UK-based players that the JFF have been trying to recruit as well. The one thing I didn't know was the local talents, how good they were. And as you say, and rightly, I've gained confidence in terms of selecting local players. One through Meron Gordon very early on. And the second was the camp that we've had, working close hand every day, coaching, building relationships, seeing them actually with the Jamaican shirt on. And is it too heavy for some players? We certainly saw that. And it gives me a lot more confidence in saying, yes, I think he can do a job, because I know the quality that's required. So yes, I think present squad, players we're trying to recruit, and now local players, and seeing a lot more games. I'm a lot more confident in what is available on this island.
Thank you, Daniel. We now go to CC. Go ahead. CC, good morning. You can unmute.
Yes, I have unmuted. Sorry about that. Good morning, coach. Good morning. You heard me, coach?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
Yes, so coach, my question surrounds the fact that when you mentioned about number nines, right? And not being limited option. But there's a couple players that I think seems to be the forgotten soldiers of Jamaican football in even the fact I think you have a Trivante Stewart right now who plays in the Serbian top league. He's played 90% of the games. I think he's been 24 games, 7 goals, 3 assists. That's 10 goal contribution. I haven't really seen him gotten a call up. I think there was a situation surrounding him around about the same time with Leon Bailey. I would like to know if he's being looked at or being considered in future, and as well as the young man Shakwani Satchwell,
who is also 20 years old, can play the position of centre forward, left winger, second striker.
Yeah, we're monitoring all the players around Jervis, Serbia, Israel, as you say, Van East. We know well. Yeah, we're monitoring them all. We know them all, and through the facility of Y Scout, we're very fortunate that we can see any player around the world. So yeah, and we're getting names every day. So if you've got names, mention them to Simon. We certainly check everybody out.
Yes, so as I said though, coach, that's one thing in terms of, as I said, the two players that I had mentioned, but even the other player, Junior Flemings, who is in the UAE, and I think he scored 7 goals in 15 appearances as well. So I just wanted to know, in essence, if sometimes maybe the distance or anything, but especially for this window, if those players don't get the opportunity right now, when it comes down to World Cup qualification, where it gets a little bit more serious, would they also still be in consideration, given the fact that, as I said, they are playing in leagues that have the possibility of them competing in the Champions League, in Trevante Stewart especially, because he's in the championship round now with his team.
Yeah, as I said before, any players that might be in the far corners, playing in countries that are not well known to us, then please let us know. But we're certainly, through Y Scout, we're onto that through people, through our scouts, our network. We get players, I can play for Jamaica coming in. Please give us a trial. Come watch me. We've got that many. I think now is the time where we have to have a little bit of a laser focus. We were quite broad in terms of our recruitment and looking at players before the new year. In World Cup year, now we need to be laser focused. And really, we've got a good squad, a good foundation of the squad. And really, anybody who can improve that, yeah, the door is never closed.
Thank you very much, CC. Thank you very much, members of the media, for being present this morning. It's greatly appreciated. The recording will go out quite shortly, and we look forward to seeing you all quite soon. So have a pleasant rest of the day and weekend ahead, and stay tuned for further updates as well. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.